Welcome to the bioanswer initiative. 50 years ago, Zimbabwe flourished with thick green savanna forests, but that history is slowly turning into mystery because these forests have either disappeared or are turning into bushes. Al Jazeera has pointed out that Zimbabwe is losing 330,000 hectares of forest per year, and the Zimbabwe Forestry Commission has projected that in the next 50 years, if we continue at this rate, there won't be any forest left in Zimbabwe. We have identified two causes for this: cooking and other uses. Cooking consumes 11 million tons compared to the 1.4 million tons consumed by other uses, making it an unbeatable consumer of our forests. We have identified Mbare, the most affected suburb, with 40,000 households, and has already lost 85% of its forest cover. And the people blame the dependence on firewood to low electricity coverage, which stands at 29%. Those with electricity face 18-hour daily blackouts, as well as high electricity tariffs, leaving the majority to charcoal and firewood shortages. This leaves 40% of the Mbare households prone to cooking 1 in 3 meals using plastics. We asked ourselves, how might we provide an affordable cooking energy solution to the people of Mbare? We observed that Mbare is home to the biggest fruit and vegetable market in Zimbabwe, generating 5 tons of organic waste every day, and all this waste ends in bins or landfills. We asked ourselves, what if we could turn this waste into energy? We came up with the biostove, an all-in-one kit that can take as little as 3 kgs of waste and produce 5+ cooking hours of gas, hence enabling 24/7 cooking energy autonomy.
To better understand the nature of the cooking energy industry, we have to understand the alternatives that are available for our users for cooking. These include the LPG gas stove, electricity, charcoal, and firewood. Gas is not an indigenous resource in Zimbabwe. Hence, it's mainly transported from Mozambique, South Africa, and Zambia, and its supply comes with high transportation costs, which makes the actual cost of the LPG gas stove to be expensive at the price of $40, with extra expenses of $15 monthly for constant refill, of which our $60 monthly income users cannot afford. Despite its affordability issues, there have been perceptions around this product. It is unaffordable, it runs out of gas quickly, which makes it costly to maintain. It is with no doubt that electricity is one of the most effective ways of cooking. However, in Zimbabwe, there's been some tremendous issues around this product. Since 2018, there's been a decrease in the production of electricity per day, which led due to the decrease in the dams of the Kariba hydro plant. The production of electricity decreased from 2,240 megawatts per day in 2018 to 1,500 megawatts per day in 2022. This led to an increase in the price of electricity and sums up to $30 monthly for cooking expenses, of which our users cannot afford. We all know charcoal and firewood are very cheap resources. However, we have identified that they are now becoming nowhere to be found resources. Why? We have identified that charcoal is mainly transported illegally in Zimbabwe, and firewood is also gone in the forests of Zimbabwe. We identified that at least 30 people are being arrested across the borders of the neighboring country of Zimbabwe due to this illegal transportation of charcoal. Hence, it led to the delayed delivery, and now they are scarce and unreliable resources. After identifying all these problems across our competitors, we came with our biostove that is affordable, accessible, clean, and so safe to use and does not require any constant refill. And it just needs a cost of $6 per month for it to function.
Now, producing our biocatalysts and our biostoves from our main production plants, we will distribute these to retailers, from which the households can make a once-off purchase of the biostove kit, followed by subsequent purchases of the biocatalyst depending on the rate of their gas consumption. However, we have other households that won't be able to produce enough waste to keep up with their rate of gas consumption. We got them covered. We will set up several sub-plants across the different locations.
I believe we lost some of your sound there. Can you try again?
Okay, for the business model.
Yeah, I can hear him okay.
I think we lost their sound. Is anyone else hearing them?
No,
Yeah.
I hear them very well.
Loud
Yeah,
and
it's
clear.
okay.
Yeah, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. We have other households that won't be able
Okay,
to
good. All right.
produce enough waste to keep up with the rate of gas consumptions. We got them covered. We will set up several sub-plants that will process waste from the local markets, restaurants, and farms for supply to these households. We started in August 2021. We explored and understand the energy need in Mbari. We ideated and come up with the biostove. We completed our first phase of prototyping, shared the specifics with our potential customers. And we are glad to share that more than 98% are eagerly waiting to use the biostove once it's launched into markets. However, we intend to finish our second phase of prototyping by December 2022. And to do that, we need $9,000 to access labs. We are glad to share that we have received our first stream of funds, $1,000 from the Ashesi Dream Design Lab to drive us towards this goal. After that, we can say July 2023, we launched the biostove into the market. We talked to Mavis, a mother of 3, and is single, and she's a vendor who earns $60 per month. All she needs is an affordable, fast, and flexible cooking energy solution to enable her to work more, to be able to cook early in the morning and cook late in the evening for her children, so that she maximizes a monthly income. Though the story is similar for majority of the 4 million households across Zimbabwe, this story resonates well with the majority of the 40,000 Mbari households, given the economic setup of the suburb. Upon its launch in 2024, the biostove will generate a total annual revenue of $100,000, which we expect to rise to $1 million in 2027. We expect the same to happen to our profits, which we anticipate our annual profits to start at $21,000 and rise to $220,000 by 2027, with a cumulative annual growth rate of 70%. We expect it to reach 12,000 households by 2027.
We are a team full of creativity and ambition with experience in marketing, entrepreneurship, and bioengineering. We are a diverse and flexible team surrounded by great expertise. This is an opportunity for us to solve the matters that center around climate action. And currently, we are in the process of making to the DDQIC finals of the competition, of which we see as an opportunity for us to gain future investments through their entrepreneurship center. As great as it might be, our main hindrance is the lack of funding for us to continue with our project and the lack of access of the lab to make sure that we continuously test our biostove to make sure that we deliver the best value to our users. Hence, to avoid this, we have collaborated with different organizations such as IBS, Ashesi Entrepreneurship Center, Smart Solution, and Ashesi Design Lab, which will ensure constant motivation, encouragement, and backup for our projects. These organizations will make sure that our project runs with or without our presence. By 2027, we see 12,000 households gaining access to our clean cooking energy. And the recycling of our food waste from the markets and other areas will ensure clean surroundings. And the special liquid fertilizer from our biostove will ensure that it encourages backyard farming in the households, hence enhancing good diets in the households. Through our expansion of our biostove, we see more than 1,000 jobs being created in the production sector, transportation sector, and also the packaging sector. We went to the field, we observed, we explored and researched, trying to understand how these users feel about the current existing cooking energy resources and what they aspire to have. Through the data that we collected from them, we came back, we ideated our product, we designed our biostove, we tested it, and we went back to them for feedback. And guess what? 98 of the people we interviewed are willing to adopt our product once we launch it to the market. As I close, we say that the future is green energy, sustainability, and renewable energy. We believe that a nation that leads in renewable energy will be a nation that leads in the world. We are Team bioanswer Initiative. Thank you so much for your time.
Wow, what an amazing presentation, Team BioAnswer Initiative. Okay, let's stop sharing, and then Julie, if you want to start spotlighting as judges ask a question. I see Anil, your hand is raised.
Hello. First, congratulations for the presentation. It was very exciting, and congratulations for the customer study that you have made. I think it's really important and really interesting to, I would say, to reassure your concept with the customer. I have just one question. How can you go faster than 2027? As the project seems to be very interesting for all the stakeholders and profitable, what are the main levers to accelerate, in fact, the deployment of your concept?
Okay, can you, I didn't really get the question.
Okay, my question is, what are the main levers to accelerate, in fact, the deployment of your concept? 12,000 households by 2027. It seems to have room for improvements and acceleration. So what can be, for you, the main levers to accelerate the deployment of your concept?
Okay, so when we launch we intend to launch producing 100 kits per month, or with a sales capacity of 100 kits per month. So we intend to say after the first year, we intend to get 12,000 in profits. So the profits we get in our first year, we intend to reinvest them in building our sales capacity by another 100 kits in the second year. So if we do that, in our third year, we intend to do the same and do the same in the fourth year. So after those 4 years, with the investments of our profits, we intend to increase the reach or the number of households we have captured to 12,000.
Thank you, Team BAI. Darius, I see your hand is raised and you have included a comment.
Yeah, so thanks so much, guys. I think your presentation was great. You covered all the bases pretty well. So I just, first of all, just want to say congratulations, really nice job. I had a couple of questions. So, and I agree with Anil, like the whole development of a customer persona, the prototyping, taking it back to the customer for feedback, iterating, beautiful. That's how it should be done. My questions are more about the supply chain that you laid out in your slide is pretty complex, right? You need to, there's like 4 or 5 steps in this process because you need to create the slurry and you need to create the catalyst and you need to distribute that. And then there's retailers. So building that is going to be hard. And every piece of that supply chain is going to need to make money off of this product. If you have 12,000 customers in 2027, that means you're getting $83 of profit per customer by 2027. My suggestion, it's not really a question, my suggestion is that you actually build out your financial model a bit to show how the rental fee or whatever, the subscription fee, whatever it is, actually translates into a cash flow through that supply chain, because it's complicated, right? So that's just a comment. Like we need to actually see the unit economics for this thing. Now the question is, I'm glad you have a minimum viable product for the stove. What I don't understand is how you're taking this organic biomass and turning it into fuel. And so is that part of your technology already proven? Is it, because I know there's a lot of people that are doing biogas stoves. So my question is that part also figured out already?
Okay, so that's the part we are currently figuring out. So what we have managed to do was we divided our prototyping into 2 phases. So for us to finish the final phase, which is the biocatalyst itself, for our first prototype, we had to use chemicals, of which our biocatalyst is, there will be the methanogenic bacteria as well as the hydrolysis bacteria, which we need to access a bioengineering lab to do that. But we had to use chemicals as controls to see their effect on speeding up the rate of gas production. So we can say it's a half job that has been done currently. That's what we need to finish doing.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Peter, I see your hand is raised as well. Perfect.
Okay, so again, let me join my colleagues in thanking and congratulating you for a fairly a good innovation on this. I have a few concerns, and some of it Darius started to talk about them. The first one is around the biocatalyst. First of all, it's around the production and how the customers will actually have them, because that is the main thing. We can get the equipment, that's easy, and that's once. But after that, keeping it going and making them to get value is the real one. So how do you plan to get it in terms of making it sustainable, the production, and getting it to the customer? That's one. The second one is that I still did not believe, or I have not gotten a very good answer to the 12K household in 5 years. That it's tough because we are talking about 100 per month and things. I can't see the correlation. So maybe you want to walk me through that a little bit more, then that would be great. But thanks for the presentation.
Okay, so for the first question, the biocatalysts are their bacteria. So for their production, we'll produce them in cultures, meaning to say they will we'll be culturing them and they are reproducing themselves. Then as for the supply to the customer, we'll supply them over the shelves. But over the shelf, that's what we are still trying to customize, because they are living things and they are sensitive to certain things. They are sensitive to temperature. So what we are still figuring out is how are we going to make them be able to survive during this long period? So the current proposal we are working towards is supplying them in a frozen form so that they are not working. But when the customer gets them, they unfreeze them and pour them into the stove, and the rest happens. So I believe that does justice to the first question.
Peter, can you repeat the second question?
So I talked about the second question is around how, based on your production of 100 per month, how do you meet the need of 12,000 or your projection of 12,000?
Okay. So in our first year of production, we intend to be selling 100 kits per month. And by the end of that first year, we intend to have sold 1,200 kits. And all these people who have sold to kits, they are literally translating to subscribers to us. Because for them to keep on producing gas at a good amount, they constantly need to keep on buying our biocatalyst to us. So from us. So that's constant revenue that we have captured. The profits we have generated in the first year, we'll reinvest them and increase our sales capacity to 200 kits per month. And keeping on iterating the process, we have captured 12,000 households, provided we stick to the reinvestment plan and everything is constant. Because we used the minimum possible amounts to generate the projections. So we intend to say by the time we get to 2027, we should have reached 12,000 households, which should be using the biostove kits. So these people, 12,000 of the households, they will be constantly be buying our biocatalyst. So once they buy our bio kits, it means they will be constantly be buying our biocatalyst, maybe on a daily basis or on 2 days. So this is what would translate to our annual profits as well as our annual revenue.
Thank you, Leroy, and thank you, Peter. Ashifi or Yarden, Dr. Brown, does anyone have any questions you would like to ask?
Yeah, so great presentation. I had a question about competitive advantage. It sounds like you're planning to have a vertically integrated company from scratch, where you're producing, you're dealing with stoves and so on. If someone were to import some stoves and figure out just to partner with someone on the production side, how are you going to compete based on the capital that you're looking to raise, as well as the potential that if you prove the market, others would be able to come in and look at chunks that are more efficient to implement and run away with your lunch?
Okay, thank you so much for your question. So basically, before we looked at our competitors, as I've mentioned in the presentation, the LPG gas, the electricity, charcoal, and fire, we had to look at the market share, right, of these existing competitors, right? And we realized that, okay, it's only 5% of people in Zimbabwe that use electricity, meaning that more, we found out that 60% of people run too much into charcoal, right? And this charcoal now, it's not something that is too reliable. Hence, like there's no delivery. Sometimes like people have issues, they use cardboards to cook and all those things. So we saw that as an advantage. And when looking at the LPG, right, the LPG is not something that is existing, that is produced. Like there's no production plant in Zimbabwe of LPG gas. They have to import it. So now sometimes there are these government policies in Zimbabwe that it's very difficult for you to run a business of transporting gas. You have to go through many.
Let me clarify the question. So I'm not talking about competition against the different alternatives. I'm talking about someone entering your space, trying to do the same kind of fuel.
Yes.
But instead of doing a vertically integrated where they're producing the gas and everything and doing the stoves, they just focus on one area where they're really good and then partner with others that are supplying the ingredients to work, right? You talked about the value chain. There's a lot that you have to do from start to finish. The way you've painted it is almost like a mining company that also plans to sell fine jewelry. The very different specializations along the value chain. And it sounds like, maybe I'm wrong, but it sounds like you guys are planning to do everything from start to finish. And what I'm asking is, how would you defend against someone that comes with a partnership model, same type of fuel, but focuses only on the areas where they have some distinct competitive advantage, and then partner with others that have an advantage in the specific areas of the value chain, and overall potentially drive costs to be lower?
Okay, let's hope I answer the question. So basically, before we planned this, right, we realized that, okay, for you to be able to produce gas, like sustainable gas, right, you have to, there's limited option of producing sustainable gas. So that was the first advantage of saying, okay, if people want to enter the market, there's no way they could try to use a very distinct way compared to ours of using the slurry and our special catalyst. They have to go through the similar process. So now, as we are using the current process that we'll be using, we will doing constant research to find a way how to constantly improve the way of making our slurry with mixed with our catalyst, so that if there's a threat of entrance in the market, they already find us ahead, innovated ahead. I think that
just in extending to we also have partnered with several organizations to ensure that if we see that we are not capable to handle the pressure of all the products. We can outsource certain things in our value chain. For example, we are currently in talks with the Africa Institute of Biomedical Scientists, so that they have the bioengineering labs. So we can actually come into a collaboration with them so that they do one part of the value chain, as well as we also have the Smart Solutions, which is a board of expertise in various fields. So we intend to outsource depending on the capacity we have upon launch. Yeah, thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we are out of time for questions, but I just wanted to thank Team BioAnswer Initiative and all of our judges today. You guys really kicked us off with such a great presentation and stellar responses. So thank you so much.